Okay, last we left off in Wild Arms, we had just gone to this tower. We ran into Calamity Jane. Seemed like there are monsters attacking the town that we're currently in. I left a message to myself to try to rest if possible, because I haven't healed recently, and there's probably enemies where we are right now. Really like this theme. The shit is whack theme. Everyone's just missing. No one here, just some empty beds. I already checked all of the barrels in this town. Oh, there's random battles in town now. Interesting. I was talking to my dad today. He's trying out Breath of Fire 1. Talking about like how awful the random encounter rate is in that game. That's something that I feel like very few SNES or JRPGs got right. Like it's a little bit too high in Final Fantasy 4. I think it's fine in 6. 5 is kind of like middling. I feel like there's a magic. If you're going to do random encounters, I guess I generally would prefer not to have them if you can get away with it. But it requires, like we were talking about with procedurally generated content, right? Like you have to do less work to do random battles than you would to make like on-map enemies that are balanced for every stage of the game. But that said, I feel like there's a magic number, a magic rate at which random encounters can occur. Statue speaking directly into my mind. The first one, Disco Dwarf? Nice. I heard that Breath of Fire 2 is supposed to come out soon, right? Sacred Spirit Ion Power. Powers are weakening. New summon monster? You've talked about that in previous episodes, Aki. Can you remind me how it works? Is this the one where you have like a danger meter that's filling or something like that? You can put it off for a while? Right into the town of Timney. Everyone just disappeared. The demons must have done this. That gave us a new rune, the Saint rune. Strength up. Let's give that to Jack. Yeah, it's a flat upgrade for him. It's not terrible. Interesting. Honestly, I was a big fan of Bravely Default, even though it kind of just cheeses it by making it an option in the menu to turn them on or off. But like the whole fast forward thing, it's interesting. I feel like having the fast forward and having the ability to turn off random encounters is just sort of like implicitly admitting that JRPGs are kind of bad, or that like the core gameplay loop of doing these battles over and over and over is kind of bad. Like I love them, you know, they're up my alley and I enjoy it. There's a reason we keep making traditional turn-based JRPGs today. Undertale Genocide, yeah. There's a finite number of encounters in the game. I do like being able to skip trivial encounters for free. That was what Earthbound did. But I was shocked that like no other RPG did it for such a long time. Where if the math worked out that you would trivially win just by spamming attack in round 1, then you just win the encounter. And it was balanced because like usually by the time you could trivially kill an enemy like that, they wouldn't be worth that much XP anyway. Mother. I can hear the voice of pain. This game's not super well localized. The voice of sadness. I can feel the screams of the human fools releasing me from these cursed chains. This game's wild because it's like a Western, but it has like fucking ancient elves and space aliens and beating JRPG Godheart things. What's the other game that has... Is Phil Gaia in ActRaiser? Is that what the name of the world is? Not the same that's Enix, but... These humans are too much for you to handle. This guy, Belzelk, who's totally not supposed to be named Berserk, right? The elves, I'm just gonna pronounce it elves, and the humans have shown abnormal abilities to push into a corner. Can't afford any mistakes until the revival of our photosphere and Lord Mother is completed. I'll show everyone what Belzelk can do. Lord Mother, yeah. Loss of our homeworld, Hyades. I'm really interested to see the remake of this game at some point. It'd be nice, like Resident Evil, it'd be nice to play both versions. As Siegfried. You tried. You tried. Oh, there's a message in a bottle, that's cool. So we must get a boat later in the game, I don't remember. So I think Undertale is a great, like, take on the JRPG because the way the encounters are structured in that game, like, there really aren't any degenerate encounters. Every encounter is a unique challenge to solve. Even if you're playing it violently, like, you still, the way you have to dodge attacks is unique every time. I guess games like Persona and Shin Megami Tensei try to do something like that, where, like, at least every unique loadout of enemies is a puzzle that you have to solve. Like, oh, okay, I need to make sure I cast this element and then use this buff spell, blah, 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 blah. The problem becomes, once you've solved that, it's not, like, interesting to do it more than once. And Persona at least makes you fight that same loadout of enemies like a dozen or multiple dozens of times, which is frustrating. I wonder if you could do something where, like, when the player solves an encounter a certain number of times, like if they beat it without taking any damage 3 times, that the encounter gets harder for increased rewards or something. I don't know. Just something to keep it interesting. The problem is, like, the way you reward a player in a JRPG is by effectively making the game easier for them. And then the only way you can really do, like, create a real challenge is by making cheesy super bosses that are balanced around having all the items in the game. Cage Tower is where we went last episode. I'm just trying to see how I get to this other town. I guess Cecilia just said the name of the town, not how to get to it. Might end up having to Google it. I guess we'll see. I don't think I used this warp template yet. Other more different warp pyramid. I played Legend of the Seven Stars. What's the translation supposed to be? This, just a weird name. It's supposed to be homunculus? Homuncrews. Nice. Such a cool setting. Now, do all the Wild Arms games take place in the same universe, in the same, like, timeline, or are they like Final Fantasy, where it's an anthology with similar themes? Fight everything that pops up. Trust you're not behind. Yeah. I guess Chrono Trigger kind of works that way. I keep holding that up as the gold standard, but what are you going to do? With Chrono Trigger, I think the way it's balanced is that there are certain enemies that you run into on the map that you must fight, and other ones that are avoidable. And as long as you don't like explicitly run away from the ones that automatically trigger, you should have enough experience that most of the game will be beatable. This guy's freaky looking. What the heck? Dude, all 8 bullets, jeez. No variance in Chrono Trigger. Yeah, Tecmo Secret of the Stars, right, sir? That's what I thought you meant. I thought maybe that was like the PAL name of it or something. You had like this little town? Yeah. The game was like super obtuse. It was one of the few SNES carts that I actually owned and didn't rent. I don't think I ever beat it, because I had it before it was easy to Google stuff. Do not enter the desert. You will be eaten alive. Okay. Nice, straightforward. Hey, this is the town we're supposed to go to. I didn't get lost. Hammond Cruise. Hey, remember that was a cool game? It was so weird that it had Tecmo in the title, like it was like Tecmo Football or something. Tecmo Bowl. Hardy Apple. Pump those on Rudy, probably. I forget my strategy. Historically, before streaming, I used to always pump all of my stat boosters onto my main character on the assumption that I can only be sure that I would have the main character in my party. I might, like, do story reasons, force everybody else out, but I don't think that's really how it works in Wild Arms. There's only 3 characters anyway, and you end up playing as all of them, so I'm gonna do the thing where I try to put the thing on whoever's worst at that stat. A few tens of battles in a dungeon. Random battles are entirely optional, defaulting now off. That's nice. It's kind of nice that you have to earn it, Dieter. I think that helps to solve the problem that Walter's talking about, where like in Bravely Default, you can just freely turn it off. You can't really know when you've done enough. I guess games can do things like put a counter on the screen, or like tell you what the recommended level for the zone you're currently in. I think, does Bravely Default do that? It sounds familiar. Please tell me I went to the right zone first. They both stock the same things, thank God. I thought I was about to get into that JRPG trap of having spent all my money at the weaker town. An Arms Meister. Right on. Oh, they're 2 different guns. I didn't realize that before. How much money do I spend on this? Oh, it costs more every time. Okay, stop that. Guns Braster. Yeah, how does it treat you in Chrono Trigger? Womp womp. I don't even use Chrono at the end of the game in that one. Meister. Meister always makes me think of the Rankin and Bass Christmas movies. Which one is it? Burgermeister, Meister Burger? I think that's Rankin and Bass. The animation ones. I hadn't heard that this time. I know you said that you thought Earthbound and Chrono Trigger were okay. Whoa, pump brakes. Random encounters are bad. I think that that's impressive too, because like 6's random encounters are so mild. Captain Breath only doesn't have a normal sense of love. Like, I think I've told this before, but this game I played on the PS1 called Beyond the Beyond. I was in this phase in the Super Nintendo era where I was like, I'm always going to play every Japanese RPG that I ever come across because I love this genre and it can do no wrong. And I played Beyond the Beyond, which has a random encounter like every 4 steps or something. I just wanted to die. It was the worst. I was like, maybe I won't play every game in the genre, or maybe they're not all good. Kevin Bartholomew is a nice man in spite of his strange antics. I do like this style of character building in JRPGs of like, go to a town, there's one interesting character, and all the random NPCs talk about them. Crystal Bud is in the Maze of Death. Okay, Crystal Bud is in like the crystal plant, not like the crystal like Bud Light. He was just talking about drinking, so. I found the Guardian statue. Weird things have been happening. The statue this drunken fool is talking about. Who's such a dick, Jack? We must get this Crystal Bud. Yeah, Breath of Fire, or Final Fantasy IV even. Final Fantasy IV's encounter rate is awful. Makes sense, sir. Working on it. Bartholomew's and the Drakes are feuding. Every time I hear them, the reasons are ridiculous. Okay, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I'm trying to think, what are some other atypical JRPGs that don't just have straight up random encounters? I love Final Fantasy VI, but it's because I played Final Fantasy VI after playing Final Fantasy IV as a kid, and I was like, wow, this is like way better. Yeah, first of all, I didn't know that running away was a thing in Final Fantasy IV when I was a kid. Because you have to hold L and R, and I don't think that there's an explicit tutorial that tells you how that works. And since I rendered it, I didn't have a manual to read. And then I played Final Fantasy V, which is the game that tracks how many times you run away and has an item that changes efficacy based on that value. And that scared me out of ever running away in a JRPG ever again. Mystic Quest. Definitely a thing. Secret of Mana, though, is more of an action RPG, I think, right? I don't know if I'd put it in the same category. I thought Final Fantasy IX handled random encounters pretty well, so does 10. They kind of get the cadence down right, because it's really what it is. It's just this rhythm that you have to perfect. Like, you want it to be long enough that you can start to feel when you should be getting one, you know? The chicken knife is explicitly better. Great ship, except for the name. Wonder if there's a named trope for this RPG thing of storing items in random art assets and having to like walk around the whole game and mash the confirm button on everything. Like, it's rewarding on the one hand, but it's also incredibly stressful. I think Blue Dragon was probably the worst about it, where like every art asset in the game had an item that you had to inspect for. Permission to board? No. The sweet candies. Yeah, minimize your steps. Well, random encounters are particularly frustrating in dungeons when there's like puzzles and stuff, because if you're disoriented about the direction you're supposed to go and then you suddenly get pulled into a random encounter, it can easily turn you around. And you start walking the wrong way, and it's not good. Bad news bears. I have 4 crest graphs. Holy shit! I apparently haven't been in a magic shop in a minute. Water magic, imprison, nullify magic spell. I probably want that. Call them all Final Fantasy spell names so I can remember what the hell they are. Oh, it's just called this spell. Wonderful. Well, I'll spell it. Gold style. I do like that they let you name your own. So there's like an unnecessary amount of customization in this game. Like they're having fun with the PS1 hardware. Increase encounter rate. Yeah, wonderful. This seems too useful to not get now that I have a basic set of stuff. Please rename the spell. Exit. This is a white magic spell. It's such an interesting way of giving you magic too, that you can like pick whichever spells you want first, instead of learning them at specific levels. I don't think I've seen too many other games that do that. Reflect back magic. Could be a lifesaver in certain fights. Reflect! Thanks, game. That's what I was gonna call it. Blind all enemies. The reduced response. What does that mean? Agility, maybe? Overcome with anger allies. So is it like Berserk? Cast evil on weapon. The response is like attack speed or something. I think we looked into 50% attribute field and I refunded it. I tried like googling what it did and I wasn't super clear. Bill's Hulk. Right. Bonus stream amounts are listed on the bonus stream tabs and the spreadsheet bucket. When there is a need, come back again. Okay. What can I do for you? I think that's everything. Alright, so I want to go somewhere else. Let's have some cool Lufia-ish puzzles. And holy is not a word. I don't think that's ever a spell in Final Fantasy. It's in Fire, in Blizzard, in Thunder. Red Mage / Mystic Knight. Weapon enhancement spells. It is in Record Keeper? Okay. Beyond the Elf Pyramid is a path to the enchanted world blocked by a magical door. Okay. I gotta start naming everything fucking Shin Megami Tensei names so I can prepare for when folks inevitably add Persona 5 onto the schedule. Because that new version's coming out soon, right? Colonically. Steal my Gela? Gela Eater! Exclamation point. Does the will to vote at Persona 5 exist? I think Persona 4 and 3 were two of the most commonly supported games in the history of the spreadsheet. Because you just have to know, you'd have to like plan ahead with whoever else was in your Persona 5 consortium. Calculate how many hours you'd have to collectively watch in order to get it to win. Name everything was poorly translated Japanese. That would be fun. Go back and rename everything. I'm also open to people adding segmented games onto the sheet. Like, play 20 hours of Persona 5. Get to some important plot threshold. Do not enter the desert. You will be eaten alive. Sea Dragon Vortex. It may not make such a good tourist spot. Great. Well, I think the theory is a 100-hour game takes 5 times the SP of a 20-hour game. And if 5 people all work together to vote for it, then it should not have that much trouble winning. But right now, the voting system doesn't like explicitly encourage collaboration like that. You just kind of luck out if 2 people happen to vote for the same game. Everybody can make sock puppet accounts to farm SP. Don't do that, please. I might be able to figure it out with my log. Yeah, I think a lot of people would throw tags onto it. Bonus streams are a pretty big deal. Just play it until the thing happens, you'll know when. I think there is one viewer who I've never met who has never responded to whispers about like unlocking chat badges and stuff, who occasionally votes for stuff as a lurker. But their voting pattern doesn't seem to be consistent with like any other viewer, so I don't think that they're cheating. Maybe I have to go to the Elf Pyramid. There's like several of them here. Definitely did the event flag in town, so... No enemy groups. Okay. There's also a site that has like a list of all known Twitch bots, and I think the way it figures out if you're a bot or not is if you're like simultaneously in hundreds or thousands of channels at the same time. So I go in whenever I go to sign chat badges and stuff and send out perks for hours watched and just check them to see if they're on that bot list. And they're all bots except for one. One time I had marked them as a bot and they checked their SP in chat and I was like, what? So I pinged them and said, do you know this website thinks you're a bot? You know, I just watch a lot of Twitch channels at the same time. Like, oh, okay, that's cool. So nothing in the desert. Let me hop back to Timney real quick and just make sure that Bartholomew guy doesn't have a specific quest or place for me to go. I'll rest real quick while I'm in here. I do like the idea of giving all the spells bad Japanese names, English names. I don't think it would trigger you as a bot. It has to be like dozens and dozens of them. Pride forces me to get the crystal bud. Made Treek believe that I was getting married and I would. Crystal bud, the captain needs one. So something like the verbal feud between the captain and Drake, like that you can just call that a feud. It's weird to say verbal feud. Oh no, Dieter! I'm so sorry. That's a bummer. It's too real though. I used to do shit like that. I used to like play music if my parents were getting out of church. I would go in the car and roll down the windows and play my music really loud. People would think I was cool, right? Even though it's like straight up Ennio Morricone. So I can't open this door. I'm gonna have to look up where to go to get the crystal bud. Pull up my phone really quick. I've definitely got the event flag to trigger. Wild Arms. Crystal bud. To that side. This is the one I came in on, I think. Oh, Wild Arms wiki. Right on. Party has retrieved from the Maze of Death. Apparently, it's essential for a wedding. The Maze of Death has no physical location, so you must walk around until the screen zooms in and shows you Maze of Death. What? Oh my god. Okay, I'm glad I googled it. I would have been screwed. This game was 97? Pretty sure I played it in either 97 or 98. This was probably I went to the library to get on a computer to like look up something on Game FAQs, or like went to a rich friend's house that had internet and wasted dozens of pages of their paper to print out a walkthrough for it. Yeah, it happens sometimes, Robin. We get some cool games when there's single champions, though. Cool niche experiences. Maze of Death. And an unmarked tile in the desert. I guess the desert is suspicious. Maybe when you're running around you see it starts to zoom in like that. Oh god, don't walk in the poison apparently. Got it. Yeah. You got oodles of SP from timestamping though, the same, right? SP and subblock hours. Confusion. Oh god. Getting confused in combat, like Donkey Kong Country 2, it reverses your controls. That's actually kind of neat. The question is, do I have 1,000,000 status effect recoveries? I have 8 of them. It's manageable, you just have to hold the controller weird. Okay, well that particular random encounter is trash. Not a fan. I think everybody eventually reaches a tap-off point on time stamping, where it's like all the games that you're particularly interested or familiar with enough to feel like you want a timestamp or tapped out. Warrior, this name, who has so much SP from timestamping that games keep putting the vote that this name is familiar with and can then timestamp those games. It's like a perpetual motion machine. Infinite SP. This requires dozens of hours of work. I gotta go through and either timestamp or at least tag the RuneScape videos at some point. Yeah. Well, I think everybody has like a set number of games that they're particularly passionate about getting on the spreadsheet, and like once that happens, unless if you're super passionate about something new that comes out, right? Yeah. I know, right, Walter? Killing it right now, I appreciate it. I should do some analytics on timestamp versus non-timestamp videos at some point. Definitely affects the SEO. I might, well, let me see how much potential SP I've ever released into the system, but I might put a special bonus SP bounty on RuneScape. It's a pretty popular subject on YouTube. Nice, Walter. Sad there's no Sekiro DLC. I guess we're gonna get that George R. R. Martin game. I don't know anything about that yet, do we? Elden Ring? It's a big blacksmith man. This is a super easy dungeon to get lost in. I like send Hamtaro handpan to get this other one without triggering the poison. Nice. Living the dream. That's a good point, Spiky. Yeah, you can't do like shift arrow key to try to see when a pickup happens because there's like not enough fanfare to really tell. Like, there's some games where whenever you get a pickup, like it will hold on that frame for like 20 seconds or something. Totally Dark Souls game. This is a dungeon where the random encounters are definitely getting in the way of my ability to figure out where the hell I'm going. Okay, so I'm back in the starting room now. There's some jank around these blocks. This is the entrance. Okay, at least I know how to get out. I guess I have that spell now where I can get out. Maze of Death. Reward for most suspicious demon statue. Code Vein. It's pretty good, man. I haven't played a Souls-like from another developer yet that's quite nailed it. The closest is Hollow Knight, but it's not really like... The lore is Souls-like, the gameplay isn't. That's nice. It's Earthbound that just automatically skips the encounter. Mystic Apple, Agile Apple, Party Apple, Power Apple. She's really the only one that uses magic. Agile increases resistance? That's interesting. Okay. You know, I like Salt and Sanctuary, but even that felt... I don't know, I can't really put my finger on it. Why all the games I've seen that have tried to be in that genre are, like, a little short of it. It sounds like Neo is pretty close. Death's Gambit 2 was really cool, but still felt... not quite there, you know? Or Devil May Cry for Dark Souls, that's interesting. Salt and Sanctuary? No, I'd like to beat it. I'd like to beat that, I'd like to beat Death's Gambit. I'd like to play Neo at some point. Code Vein sounds cool. Mardic RPG isn't getting any sequels, it's fun. They got a really cool opening sequence. Oh no, do these reset? Oh, bummer. No leaving the dungeon, apparently. I don't know what those switches do yet. I kinda know where I'm going now, though. There's a companion statue on the opposite side. push both of them and then push the demon statue maybe to go up the center. Exclamation point, male gaze. It's fine. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I think I made it to this before. I wonder if anyone's landed on a way, like, in criticism to say, there is a problematic element of this that doesn't mean the whole thing is garbage. But it makes me sad that the problematic thing is there. I guess you could just say that, but I feel like a lot of people don't believe you. Disappointed. This isn't my world. Whoops. Okay, didn't send me somewhere else at least. It's a chest. What is that? Clear chime. Nullify confusion. Wait, is it here? So I don't think this game allows for... Okay, yeah, it's an accessory. This game does not allow for the cheese where you, like, get afflicted with a status effect and then equip the item that provides immunity to the status effect in order to clear it without using a consumable. I feel like there were at least a couple Final Fantasies that had that. You could get petrified and then equip like a anti-petrified accessory or something. Finish with the game and also end up not loving it overall. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. I hadn't thought about that. Good, the bad, and the ugly. I think focusing on the good first is useful. I don't know, I feel like once you compile a list of problems, like, they're already magnified. Just the fact that you... Even if you only have, like, a couple things on your list, it's easy to go, like, really? That's the thing that bothered you? Can't you see past that to see the art? Not that hard to make anything sound like garbage if you want. I'm guessing all those statues are shifted based on doing stuff elsewhere in the dungeon. The enemy sound effect choices are interesting. That's a good way to put it. Hey, it's the Crystal Bud. Boss fight? The whole temple is shaking. Can I just cast exit? Because that would be great if I just picked that up. Fucking awesome. Living the dream right there. Oh man, it let me get away with it. Games don't do that these days, right? I just picked that up too. Oh, whiny egg deals with daddy issues. Your teleportation magic mysteriously doesn't work now that you need it. Yeah, we were talking about like GTA and feedback earlier. I was trying to avoid like saying it was bad because I don't think GTA is bad. Just comparing the basic loop of each game to like the basic loop of Pokemon. But anyway, like the later GTA games seem to really restrict you from doing that kind of crap, casting your exit spell just to avoid the time countdown, right? They have some kind of shenanigan that keeps you from solving it the way you want to solve it. Do it our way. I feel like some amount of cheese should be left in your game, even if you detect it. Like, you don't want to close every single loophole. I guess it depends on your game. Like, it makes sense to fix some cheese in a game like Baba Is You, where the player's going to miss a really important piece of puzzle information if they solve it badly or they limp to the finish line, but it's like in D&D when you have a really cool idea and your GM just doesn't allow it. Sell it for 5,000 gila. But thou must. Yeah, that's crazy, this name. It's gotta be fun. I'm Captain Bartholomew. It's Drake. They're having a verbal feud. That's a crystal bud. When did you care to smell my crystal bud? This era, man, like, right before we started taking localization seriously and spending money on it. But, like, also the scripts are longer than something like, you know, a Super Nintendo game. We didn't really spend money on localization, but there wasn't that much text. If you read that Legends of Localization book from Tomato, like, Earthbound was really the only game they really spent money on because of how quirky it was, and they were hoping that this was going to be how they penetrated JRPGs into the Western market. Which was not very successful until Final Fantasy VII, which is horrifically localized. Marshmallow Peep Golems, nice. Dumb Baboon? That laughing sound effect is great. Oh, gross. I think she's like 17. We're gonna join this scam, this scheme. Pretend like Cecilia's his bride. I must deceive them or I'll be laughed out of town. It's too late, you're in on this to the end. Yeah, there's no other option. I'll give you the tour of my ship, Sweet Candy. That's something about Japanese quote symbols, like the L brackets. I don't know. I like the aesthetic of it. Like, it feels more like it's communicating something more than what we communicate with just quote symbols in the West. Like, if this is my stand, you know, Killer Queen or whatever. has this weird sense of like officialness versus quotes just sound like, you know, air quotes or scare quotes. Partitioned, yeah, that's a good way to put it. I guess you can accomplish that in English with all caps, maybe, or with like a different font, maybe bolding. Dude, I stopped watching JoJo because I didn't like that the subtitles were using these safe, like, non-copyright stand names. Like, 50% of my enjoyment of that stupid show is getting all of the musical references. It's especially bad when, like, in the dialogue you can clearly hear what they're saying. They'll be like, oingo boingo, and then the subtitles will say something completely different. But you guys aren't gonna get sued, are you serious? I think you're having too much fun. The wedding's tomorrow. Shouldn't you be reading up on the rules or something? Of the wedding? What is even happening? We got roped into that fast. Square brackets. Surround them with emojis. I was pretty opposed to emojis when they first started becoming a thing, but I like using them to break up text to make it easier to parse stuff. And saw the emojis in like the voting system spreadsheet. However, like I think that Microsoft's emojis are the only ones that look any good. They've got this nice thick black outline that makes them really easy to tell from regular text. I wish that they wouldn't appear differently on different devices. Cast escape. Yeah, right, Leon? Your cheat you can do is to, I think if you look up, there's like a JoJo Wiki article list of cultural references to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. If you just follow that along in episode order, you can see what the names are supposed to be. I peed in the ocean and the ocean guardian, Lucadia, got angry. Okay. Despite all of, like, the millions of gallons of fish pee? Drake knows the marriage is a fake. Exactly, Robin. The copyright thing is why it took so long for it to come out of Japan. It's super dumb. Some of them like completely lose out on the reference. Like there's a stand that's named after a Pink Floyd song that's 3 acts. The stand has 3 acts, but if you change the name of it, you lost that. And it's especially frustrating because like that already happens in localization routinely when it's about like something in the source language. You know, like a Japanese pop song or a Japanese meme or an idiom or something. But these are like Western songs and memes and idioms that make sense in the Japanese, but not in the translated English. That's kind of fun, Leon. I guess for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, so in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, like, the guy who writes JoJo is a big, like, 60s, 70s, and 80s, like, hair metal and prog rock nerd. So, like, all of the special abilities that everybody has are named after, like, cool songs, like, or bands. So it'd be like Aerosmith, or Killer Queen, or Bohemian Rhapsody, or something like that. And I guess when they did the subtitles, they got super nervous about getting sued, so they changed them all to, like, slightly similar things. But it's like where he gets almost all of the ideas. Like it's his creative scaffolding for coming up with their abilities is like, if someone's stand is Aerosmith, then what is that, right? So it's kind of fun to kind of see the goofy writing process for this ridiculous show. Okay, I'm gonna head back to the save point. I don't think there's anything else I'm gonna do on the boat before I trigger the wedding here. Yeah, and, like, Bad Company is clever, right? Because it's like these little toy soldiers. Is company like a company of soldiers? I don't know. It's boo. Is this the same thing? It's one of these doors here. Future Marstead, you've been roped into a wedding. If you've already searched most of the ship, you've looked in every barrel. I think if you talk to this guy, it's going to trigger an overnight rest that will trigger the sequence. If for whatever reason that doesn't work, the only place you possibly haven't been on the boat is all the way on the deck. So go as high upstairs as you can. But try talking to this dude first and see if that triggers it. Cool. It's going to take me a little bit longer to get the Wii U set up for Pikmin 2, so I'll be back in a bit.